Hey guys, Derek here. We are back with another reaction to Midnight Mass. This is episode 3. It is called Book 3, Proverbs. Now, what happened last time on Midnight Mass? So last time we had freaking Bev Keane kill that dog, and it was the most upsetting thing that has ever happened in a television show. But for real, screw Bev Keane. She sucks. We also had the drug dealing gentleman get murdered by the bat demon. I still have theories about that. Not sure how correct those theories are. And then the episode ended with they were doing communion, and the pastor had what's her face, the little girl. What's her name? Lisa. That he had Lisa stand up to come get the little bread circle thing, which is significant because she is paralyzed and in a chair. So that is a huge development from from her normal life, and that is how last episode ended. I wonder if more shocking things will happen in episode 3. Who knows? I imagine this will be a significant development in this town. Probably it's not. I don't think they're just gonna like push it under the carpet like, yeah, we'll pretend this didn't happen. No, this is gonna be a big topic of discussion amongst the 6 people that still live in this town. I'm excited to jump into another episode. Before we do that though, please consider leaving a like on the video. It means a lot to me, helps my videos get seen more. Subscribe if you want to see more reactions to Midnight Mass. And then if the full-length reaction in this episode is something that interests you, consider supporting me on Patreon. I post all my full, uncut reactions in watch-along format, so you just sync up your own copy of the show and you can watch with me. There you can also become a super supporter and get featured in every single one of my videos. But other than that, let's jump into episode 3 of Midnight Mass.
Bless me, Lord, for I am going to sin.
Interesting. It's like in Daredevil.
Tomorrow morning I'm going to introduce myself to the parish and lie to them about Monsignor John Pruitt.
I knew it. I knew he's not good. What happened to that man? Did he get attacked by a demon in Jerusalem? And Monsignor Pruitt is the bird demon now? What are they putting? Personal prayers into the wall?
It's a man who had overstayed his allotted time on this earth. I'm not going to tell him any of that. When it starts, they'll be ready.
When what starts? The weird stuff?
The miracles that are to come.
Hey, it's a party. Do some jumping jacks, run a few miles. I'd be peeing my pants if this happened. I do not know how I would handle this. Would he sacrifice some of his own health for this? But why did that have such an impact on him? Ooh, why are you coughing up blood, brother?
Are you all right?
I think it's crazy that that's what she's concerned about right now. Like the image of the pastor and not the miracle that just went down.
Your muscles are a little underdeveloped,
Yeah,
which is understandable.
that's what I said last time. I was like, her muscles like atrophied.
I would love to get Lisa to the mainland for some advanced testing.
Oh, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, we pay rent on a house we used to own. Half the food we eat is bought on SNAP benefits, and the other half is donated from the church.
Oh, we are not complaining.
Oh yeah, they can't really afford to go to a doctor.
Let's not overreact. God does not seek glory, not like that.
I mean,
Let's pray.
God kind of does seek glory. I mean, isn't that the whole point?
Give thanks to the God of
Maybe the
gods.
pastor doesn't seek
Steadfast
glory, but
love endures forever.
isn't everything we do as Christ followers supposed to be for God's glory? I want to know why this dude was coughing up blood. Is he sacrificing some of his own health for these miracles?
Wouldn't be surprised if you get a phone call from a reporter on the mainland.
Does he think this was planned?
You had to know. You had to know that she could walk. I mean, you went back up the stairs. You beckoned her. If she hadn't, what would have happened to you?
It would have been embarrassing, to say the least.
Have thought of you. If I told somebody else that I could just feel it as she wheeled past me on that ramp, that I could almost see it, that I could almost hear her voice inside my head. I felt so connected to her at that. That might be good enough for someone, but not for you. Is it, Riley Flynn?
Ooh, interesting cut back there.
I want more.
Yeah, a lot of times when non-religious people want to get answers from someone who is religious, like the answer that makes sense to the believer is not going to be something that other person will accept. I wonder how many people will maybe like think that she was a fraud and just kind of pretending. That'll be interesting. His back feel fine?
What are you doing? What about your back?
Doesn't hurt anymore.
What?
Chloe, what you doing? Sneaking out at night. Must have took you 3 hours to walk there. With her dumb cane. Oh, never mind. Apparently you don't need it. You're dancing like a fool. I like this song too. Good choice of music in this show. Hey, you guys sit and have your late night coffee. Something happened to this boy. Church is straight packed today. Okay, you guys need to just make out already. Quit looking at each other. Oh, they are capitalizing on it. I like that song. I'm gonna have to figure out what song that is later. Now it's time to smash.
When we're waiting for something we want, it takes forever. We sit in traffic for an eternity.
None of these people know what traffic is like.
To us,
They live on an island
but not to
with
God.
no cars.
God's gifts are as tangible as the ground beneath our feet. And his covenant, it's not abstract. No, it's a contract. Scrawled in flesh.
Is he doing all right? Seems to be struggling a bit up there.
To be a child. To look with awe.
To have that
wonder,
childlike
live
faith.
with staggering
It's the goal, right?
honesty.
Because it turned.
That is
Go get Dr. Gunning.
not great. You about to turn into a bird?
Version of Saul. A horrible sandstorm overtook him. There had been recently horrible storms in the area. You heard this is astonishing.
That's like the
storms.
storm that hit the island.
Mouth of a cave, perhaps. Door to some ancient ruin.
bird demon escaped, and it's the pastor.
Cave-like entrance that had just opened up in front of him until all light.
What the frick? Oh, that was kind of scary.
You are dehydrated, the father, so cut out all the salty foods, drink lots and lots of water, get
Drink
some
the
rest.
blood of the innocents.
Let this work its way out of your system.
Still not sure if you're the bird demon or not.
Just doing my job.
Ooh, is that a... Interesting. Wonder if we'll get to explore kind of their faith dynamic.
I want to fuck you.
Ooh.
Hello.
Yep, that's the gun he shot you with.
Is that the one?
Wonder if she's gonna be angry.
Like a clap of thunder, and I was just on the ground, but I didn't feel it. And my dad is screaming like an animal. Never heard his voice like that, and I never have since, but I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it at all. I hate you, Joe Colley. I have hated you for years, and the things I've imagined doing to you, I want you to hurt. I want
Did
you
he
to
do it on
suffer.
purpose?
I want you to make those noises.
Or was it an
Put
accident?
his hand over the bullet hole in my spine. I want you to beg for my forgiveness so that I can tell you no. I want you to live in complete, absolute misery. So when I say this place is just like I pictured,
I'm sorry.
damn right you're sorry. You stole from me. Not just who I was, but who I could have been. You stole from me things I didn't even... You reached through time, Joe Colley. You reached through time and you stole.
Oh, this is a sad scene.
All of that. I forgive you.
Uh,
I forgive you, Joe Colley.
I don't know if he wants that.
Because the only thing standing between you and a better life is you. The only thing standing in my way was hate. If God can forgive you, and he says he can, all over the place he says it,
Why can't she?
then I can forgive you. And if I can forgive you, Joe Colley,
Then you can forgive
then
yourself.
anyone can.
Bro, this little girl just shattered this man's whole life.
I understand that a few of you are upset, but let me be
Oh,
the first
that
one
was
to help calm you down.
wonderfully
No one
acted.
is
That was
taking a
really, really
single
good.
thing away. All of
Both
the
of those
required
actors
lessons
killed
are
it.
Still being taught.
He knows all about Jesus.
I imagine not quite all.
Muslims believe that Jesus is a prophet of God. We love Jesus, and we love the message that was revealed to him.
Well, I suppose we learn something new every day, don't we?
But we also
Yeah, she's the one that probably doesn't know anything about the other side.
thanks to the interference. So I am more than comfortable with my son studying a Bible. Thrilled, actually. I've done it myself. But where I think there's an issue is that this is a public school. That's the thing. And I think what's concerning some of us, it's not the Bible itself, but that it was handed out, distributed. to
Yeah,
the
you can't
kids
do that.
here.
You can't do that.
Just
In a
as
school, you
teachers
cannot do
could
that.
feel if I went around handing out copies of the Quran to the children on this island, purely in the interest of the pursuit of knowledge, well, I'd expect you chase me out of town, Miss Keene.
If I may, Anna,
I fully agree with the
she's
sheriff.
absolutely right.
Why, Sheriff? Of course. I would
Bev,
run you
shut the
out of
frick
town.
up.
And it makes me sad that you would think that.
You absolutely would, and you know it.
People of faith.
I am not evangelizing. I am simply sharing my faith with the children in the
mean,
hopes that they might be inspired.
Evangelization,
If
kind
God
of
was
sharing your
not-
faith and
And they quoted
secretly
the
hoping that
Proverbs
the other
kids, I
person
would be fine,
is
so long as the text
moved
was
to
an
Jesus.
offensive, which forgiveness.
It's not actually the point that he's making. And what is education?
Yo, Bev, shut up.
If not providing a student with the option to
God.
learn. Why be afraid to let them read a particular text? What? Are we gonna burn books?
Okay,
We find even a
public
smidge
schools are...
controversial? And in this case, her events.
Beverly.
This community is in the midst of a full-blown religious revival at the moment. And if the children of this community cannot discuss that in their local school, well, I just don't know what that is.
They can discuss it, but handing out Bibles in school, you can't do that. Beverly, you can't do that.
Stay in that room listening to her.
It's a public school. You cannot do that.
Particular brand of self-righteousness that is exclusive to a certain breed or religious.
She pisses me off.
I've never liked that.
Man, I'm a coward.
Don't do that.
I think most people, if they really looked inside, would
If anyone else
think that
talked
they're
about you like
cowards.
that,
I'd kick it just like this. Oh!
Okay, you guys gonna kiss or what?
I was like,
But just now, it's like I woke up and there you are. Am I beautiful?
Oddly coherent right now. A haze has been lifted. Some time of miracles.
I guess I'm not as quick to forgive as they are.
All right, what do you think, Riley?
Riley doesn't forgive him yet.
Not really in a position to say anything to anyone about their drinking.
Oh, that's true.
That's all you have to say? Do you remember that first time? You remember that Riley who walked in here, arms folded, walls up? I remember him.
Think about him for a minute, then talk.
Because I think there's something you can say to Joe that I can't, that nobody else can. And that's what this is for, so don't bullshit me. Just do it.
Hey, Riley?
Snap. Tell him how it is, Pastor. He is in a kind of a unique position at the moment to
You showed up, Joe.
give some advice.
You're here. That's enough. It won't be forever, but for tonight it is. For tonight, it's everything.
Bruh. What is going on with this man? I'm gonna be upset.
Does it ever get any different for people like us? I don't know. Used to becoming different people.
Good night, Joe.
Night, Riley.
Yeah, this was a moving episode. Even it's not even done, and it's just like,
And I know Lisa pretty well, actually, and her case it's a miracle, okay? It just is.
No, that isn't how it works, Ali. That isn't how Allah...
it's gonna be a re-examination of faith on all sides.
If God really worked that way, if he decided that he was going to heal some people and not others, if he chose to spare some and not others, if he handed Lisa Scarborough a miracle, that's not how God works.
It's not up to us to decide how God
No matter how
works.
exciting the stories are,
Fuck! Bird demon! The bird demon!
what happened?
It was outside.
Nothing.
That thing was staring them down. Better not try and eat them.
I said,
God did that.
oh God, not again.
What is going on with this guy? Why are you coughing up blood, brother? Having freaking seizures. Call the doctor. What are you doing? Why are you all just staring at him? Allowing this man to drown in his own blood? What are you doing? Bruh. You guys. Did this man straight up just die? No way. Okay, well then. this man stroll into church on Sunday like nothing happened. My dude, he's gonna light another one and it's gonna be closer. No. Oh. It's gonna be behind you, my dude. I need an explanation for this bird demon. Oh, he's gonna light it and it's gonna be right behind him. It's the rule of threes in film. It's gonna be behind him. Oh, what the frick? Okay. What's up with you, man?
The word was angel.
That was an angel. What? Looks more like a demon.
He was sore afraid. It motto the wound of the Lord.
Oh, is he gonna,
And from the
he's gonna
angels
bleed on him
the blood of
and make him young? The old pastor is the young pastor.
Drink.
So the new pastor is Monsignor Pruitt.
Decades washed away. And behind him, at the entrance of the church, I thought it must have been churches. Ancient church hiding an angel. Behind me, an angel of the Lord, afraid of the light.
I don't know if that's an angel of the Lord. That looks like a demon. Oh, okay. And he's alive. He's rose from the dead. Yeah, I'd be understandably freaked out. Yeah, this is interesting. Don't know. Oh, she saw a picture of him when he was young. That's why she was staring at that earlier.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
Well then. My goodness. That was a doozy of an episode. Okay, so one of my theories was correct, and that is that Father Paul is actually Father Pruitt, just a young version of him. I was wrong about one or both of them being the bird demon. I guess that was incorrect. I think the way that young Pruitt is seeing this thing is he sees it as an angel. I don't. I mean, unless I'm just like not the most knowledgeable about what an angel specifically exactly looks like, that thing looks more like a demon. It's got like leather skin. It looks like demon wings. And you know, maybe this demon could see inside his head and was like, bruh, I know exactly how I can leave this town. I can leave Jerusalem and leave Israel. I can go to some place and feed on people. I don't know if this demon thing had a plan, but I don't think it's an angel. You know, maybe it is, and that's the way they're choosing to portray this particular version of what an angel looks like. I don't know. So, but yeah, this episode was very interesting. Like right off the bat, we get the info of him. He's confessing and talking about how he's going to lie to the town about what happened to their pastor, right? And you know, that part very vindicating for me, because it's like, picked up on right away, like the clues that were strewn upon the way about how they're the same person. I'm very proud of myself for that, but I was wrong on the other part. But yeah, he's just describing what's happening to the pastor, and he's talking about things that he couldn't know unless he was him, right? Like unless he was there every step of the journey with him. And it's just very interesting. The how everyone reacted to Lisa's recovery was interesting. I mean, obviously the doctor, who is not necessarily a believer, is like, hey, maybe we should go to the mainland and get some people to look at her and figure out what's going on. They don't want that for probably a multitude of reasons. One, like they said, they spent most of their money on previous doctor visits, like trying to figure out any possible way to help her. And so they can't really like logistically afford to do that. Like bringing her to another doctor is expensive and they can't afford that. Like they're already like they're paying for a house they don't live in anymore. And all their at least half their food is donated. So it's like, one, they just can't do that. But two, I think the town also wants to attribute this, or at least the people in the church want to attribute this to a miracle. So like the idea of going to a doctor and having that be, the explanation of that be shifted onto something that isn't God is probably not the most appealing idea to those people. We have, but understandably, like half the town is like, bruh, fix me. And Bev Keane is like, well, like God doesn't want glory, and so that's not how this is gonna work. But it's like, I don't know. Bev seems to have a particular understanding of the gospel. I mean, the way I understand it is, you know, she's saying God doesn't want or seek the glory. Isn't that exactly what God wants? Is the glory? Like when you do something, you're doing it for the glory of God. Like every action as a Christian you want is to lift up Christ and the Father and have that glory be given to them. She seems very intent on placing the appreciation and the glory and all that and all the positive enlightenment or recognition from this event. She seems very intent on placing that on the pastor. And her reasons for that is like when after he goes into the room and he's like puking up blood and stuff, she looks at the picture. The newspaper clipping of him when he was young, you know, renovating the church. And she realized, I think she realized that it's the same guy. Like he's not a new person. And I think that explains some of her actions later when she's like handing out the Bible. Like she's fully convinced that like she might be convinced that, you know, Father Pruitt is like Jesus come back. You know, I don't know exactly what her thought process is, but she seems very all on board the Father Pruitt specifically, not Jesus and Father God. But yeah, you know, him and Riley have some nice moments in their little meeting. You know, I liked that a lot. It's very interesting, like now, like knowing that he is the old man, like every interaction that he's had with someone where he seems to just know a little bit too much about them and exactly their thought process and the history that they've gone through makes more sense because he is the old man. And he's talking to Riley, and Riley's like, I want to know what's going on. He's like, bruh, the answer I can give you is not going to be one that satisfies you. And I've definitely, I've felt that exact thought before when talking to non-Christian, non-religious people when they ask a question, and it's a question that can only kind of be answered in a way that like like a faith-based person is only going to be able to answer that in one way. And it's not going to be a satisfying answer for whoever asked it, right? Which is unfortunate sometimes, but sometimes that's just the way it is. Then we have a whole musical sequence where positive things are just happening. Riley's dad's back doesn't hurt. His mom doesn't need glasses anymore. His little brother is in a developing relationship with Lisa. Like positive things seem to be happening. You know, the church is filling up. People are getting there. But there are some interesting developments within this. So we see that the father might be a slight alcoholic as well. I mean, it's probably helpful that he's in the meeting, but he has a flask of wine that he's maybe been taken. I don't know if that wine is helping him in some way or what have you, but yeah, he starts to feel some of the side effects of whatever is going on with this angel demon blood thing that happened in the cave. So that thing made him young again. I wonder if it has some temporary side effects or something. I don't know, because presumably this angel demon thing, like, it drank his blood first, so it needed his blood for whatever reason, but then it just like gave it back to him. And I'm not sure like the exact dynamic of how that might affect him going forward, but or if it's like a temporary thing. But he seems to be struggling quite a bit. Like, his body is literally dying. You know, he was talking about how, you know, when he was in Israel, like, that was a man in his last days. Like, he is dying. And so now that he's back and not dead, you know, if this demon blood has only like a temporary effect on him, like, is he really like a dead man walking, in a sense, and barely holding it together. We have some interesting developments with the sheriff and his son. So Bev Keen, you know, butthole Bev, handed out Bibles at school, which you can't do, like, right? Like, so he sees the Bible in the backpack, and it is not a good thing. Like I say this as a Christian who is very in touch with his faith, right? Like, you cannot, this is a public school, you cannot hand out Bibles at a public school. It's against the law. Like, you're not allowed to do that. It's you know, because public schools are funded by the government, right? Like, funded by taxpayer money. Due to the separation of church and state, like the legal precedent, you cannot do that. It is like, that's the quickest way possible as a teacher to get fired. Like, any parent goes, like, they're lucky they're on some hyper religious island, because if this was a regular public school anywhere else, any parent goes to the superintendent or the principal or whatever, and they say, hey, this teacher handed out Bibles in class, like, that teacher's fired in an instant. Like, it's not even a question. So the fact that they're in this classroom debating whether or not it's okay for her to hand out Bibles, and the sheriff and Aaron, the teacher, are like, yo, this isn't the point that he's making. It's not about whether Christianity is correct or Hinduism is correct or Islam is correct or Buddhism is correct. Like, that's not the point that he's trying to make, right? Like, he's not saying, you know, the Quran, not necessarily saying like, oh, the Quran is correct, I would prefer you hand out that or the Bible is incorrect. Like, it's not what he's saying. He's saying this is a precedent of, like, you are pushing this faith on people, on other people. And that's not okay. Like, he's trying to say, like, if I did this, you would run me out of town. And she's like, no, I wouldn't. Of course. Yes, she would. She absolutely would. Without question, she would run this man out of town. But, you know, like, it is understandable that the town is going to want to discuss this. And, you know, as a teacher, I mean, she's not even a teacher. She's just like she's just there. Like she could say, hey, this is, you know, I understand that there's a topic of discussion that many of you want to talk about at school. We're going to talk about school stuff. After that, outside of class, you can come up to me and ask questions. If you want to know more, I can give you stuff or whatever. But like within the context of the classroom, you can't do that. And like Aaron says, she just has this particular brand of self-righteousness that is infuriating. like like even if, as a Christian, like I hear her talk and it just pisses me off. Like I hate it. And you know, the sheriff's son, you know, he's curious about what's going on. Like this is another dynamic of your parents choosing your faith, right? You know, his father is a Muslim, and he has been assigned to be a Muslim, I guess, is the kindest way to put that. Where, you know, he doesn't necessarily know at the moment if being a Muslim is something he wants going forward. He wants to go to church, a Christian church, and kind of just see what it's about and explore some of that. And it's, you know, a little bit of hypocrisy from his dad, just a tiny bit, because he mentions in the school how like he'd be totally fine with his kid exploring that and wanting to know more, but then when his kid is like, hey, I want to kind of check this out, he's like, no. So I think maybe he needs to bend a little bit on that, and so his kid can explore his faith and decide if that's a route that he wants to go going forward. But you know, like that's not a thing exclusive to Muslims or anything, right? Like I'm not saying that. Like this is a very big thing within Christianity as well, especially in the South. You know, there's a process called deconstruction that I think every Christian should go through, and it's just kind of asking themselves questions about their faith and figuring out why they believe what they believe, right? It is a very big thing and a big problem within faith-based situations where a parent is, you know, a practicing believer of whatever faith, and then they kind of just decide that their kid is as well. And you know, there's the topic of like, should you raise your kid in a faith or not? And I think to a certain extent you can, but at the end of the day, that has to be their choice, right? So I think that'll be an interesting dynamic going forward of how their two faiths continue and grow and develop and things like that. We had a really touching scene with Lisa and Joe. So she goes to forgive him, right? And I think I know why she chose to go and forgive him. Like, right, like up to this point, she hasn't wanted to. Like, she still is angry at this man. You know, whether he did it on purpose or not. You know, I don't think he did it on purpose based on his reactions and everything, but she, you know, the idea of like, if God can forgive this man, she can forgive this man. You know, maybe in her heart, in her head she knew that, right? But in her heart, maybe she didn't quite believe that. But then she was literally presented with a confirmation, at least in her mind, of God existing, being real, miracles existing, being real. In her mind, this is kind of a confirmation, full confirmation of her faith. So it's like the pastor was talking about in the sermon, like God has shown us that these things are real, and we don't believe, but they're real. So like that in turn, for her, makes like the idea of forgiveness, like absolute forgiveness, real, and something that she kind of has to carry forward now. So she goes to see this man to tell him that she forgives him, but she takes him through the whole process. She's explaining like this is not an easy thing for her to do. And it was a very touching, emotional scene, because this dude is just like he's ready for her to just lay into him, and it's kind of happening, and you know, he feels he deserves that. And then she says, I forgive you, and this dude is just like breaking down. And she's like, the only thing in the way of you moving on with your life is you. And it was just a beautiful scene. And he goes to the AA meeting with Riley and the pastor, and they have a nice moment there where Riley's like, yo, man. Well, at first he doesn't want to say anything, but the pastor's like, bro, you're the only person here who can directly relate to his situation. Like, give him something. And he tells him, you know, it's not, you showing up tonight is not always going to be enough. Like, that's just the first step, but tonight it is enough. And I enjoyed the dynamic they had, especially their talk walking back, where they're really just connecting, and they're two men who were kind of in the same general spot in their life where their drinking led to pain upon other people, and you know, they get to explore that process going forward of how they become different people, and it's very interesting to me. Oh, I forgot to mention the bird demon angel thing, freaking staring at Rahul and his kid. I know his name's not Rahul in the show. His name is Rahul in real life, if you don't know. That was freaky. And then this pastor walks back into his house and is like coughing up blood and like drowning in his own blood. And everybody in this room is just looking at him like just staring at him. It's like, bro, roll this man over to the side so he's not literally drowning in blood. And it's just like ridiculous that they're all just standing there watching him. And he dies. They check his pulse and he's dead. And then we get the full backstory of how he wanders into this cave in Israel on the road to Damascus. And he, you know, he's trying to relate this to the story of Saul, Paul, and how he was shown God, and you know, the scales came off his eyes and he was a Christian. I still don't know. I don't think this is an angel. I think this is some demon thing. And I don't know quite how, you know, obviously we don't have all the answers. I want to know. But frick. And then he comes back to life, and they're like, understandably, everyone in this room is like, like freaking out. Freaking Bev Keane, though, she's absolutely gonna take this and run with it as if this dude is the Messiah. Like, she's gonna run with it, and she's gonna treat it as a way for her to assert her own self-righteousness on everyone else in the town, especially the sheriff and his son. And it's gonna be infuriating to watch her going forward. So yeah, I don't know. This was episode 3. So we got 4 episodes left, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we're not even like halfway through the series, and stuff is already getting crazy. So I assume there will be more religious fervor to come. I'm very interested to continue exploring the dynamics of kind of what this show is presenting, and how it's saying it, and kind of exploring that. So thank you for being here. Let me know your thoughts on this episode down below in the comments. That would mean a lot to me. You know, what do you think this thing is, a demon or is it an angel? Or, you know, if you are if you're a religious person, what do you think about this episode in particular, and the choices they're making, and how they're choosing to present stuff? And then if you're not religious, you know, do you see everything that's happening and you're like, psychos? You know, who knows? Again, let me know all your thoughts down below. If you liked my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a lot to me. Subscribe if you want to see more reactions to Midnight Mass or any other show that I'm watching on the channel. And then if the full-length reaction is something that interests you, consider supporting me on Patreon. I post all my full uncut reactions in watch-along format, so you just sync up your own copy of the show and you can watch with me. There you can also become a super supporter and get featured in every single one of my videos. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.